Hi guys, my name is Mariam and I'm shooting this vlog as a part of my marketing assessment. I'm going to talk about some of the marketing concepts in this video that I've chosen for this assessment and then apply them to Apple. Let's get started. So let's talk about marketing first. Chartered Institute of Marketing explains marketing as a management process that is responsible for identifying, anticipating and satisfying customer requirement profitably. So Apple Incorporation is one of the world's largest technological company that designs, manufactures and sells mobile and media communication devices. So the first marketing concept that I've chosen is the Porter's Five Forces. According to Porter, market rivalry is embedded in the basic market structure of an industry and goes beyond the actions of existing rivals, and therefore it becomes really necessary to analyze these five forces to know the degree of competition in the industry. So let's apply this five forces model to the consumer electronics industry in which Apple operates. Industry competitors. The level of competition in the industry is really high, with companies like Samsung, Apple, Dell, and Huawei operating in the industry. The other factors include commodification of the product, distribution of market shares among very few large groups like Apple and Samsung, and concentration of market shares. The market growth rate of the industry is quite really high, with introduction of new products with new and innovative technologies. The bargaining powers of suppliers is very low in this industry, and then factors as low information asymmetries and reduced possible competition threat because of the existence of large number of suppliers all across the globe make it a less risky force for the companies in this industry. All the company sells undifferentiated product, which makes the buyer switching cost very low, and the customers are highly informed because of the extensive marketing strategies adopted by the companies in the industry. Entrants. Threat of new entrants is very low in this industry because there is a need of huge capital investment for operating and to acquire new technologies and intellectual property rights. Moreover, this industry is strictly regulated by government regulations, and the existing companies have already gained vast experience in this industry that it makes it really hard for the new entrants to compete them because of the reasons such as brand loyalty and customer loyalty. The threat of substitutes is a moderate force for the companies in this industry because of the following reasons. Firstly, all the companies sell undifferentiated, high quality and high performance product, so the switching cost for the buyers is very low and there is intense competition in the market. Although there are a lot of substitutes available in the market for the consumers, sometimes the consumers are willing to pay high price for a specific brand they are loyal to. Evaluation and critique of Porter's five forces. It helps the marketers to formulate strategies accordingly and gain differential advantages over the rival firms according to DIB. And according to Porter, it aims at determining the profitability of the industry in long term. But there was some critique about this model, like Helbry and Grundy says that they argue that this model was excessively static and outdated, that it ignores the changes in the environment, and there were also people that suggested to update this model, such as Downs has proposed three additional driving forces to Porter's five forces. They were namely globalization, digitalization, and deregulation. Innovativeness was also suggested by Larry. The second concept is the STP process, where S stands for segmentation, T for targeting, and P for positioning. Segmentation is the process where the market is divided into groups of people who have similar kinds of interest and similar purchasing habits. Whereas in targeting, the organization determines its target market. Those are the people for whom or to whom the firm actually wants to sell the product. And in positioning, they identify the actual needs or the important elements, the elements that are important for the customers, so that it gives them reasons to buy that product, and that's how an organization position its brand in the target market. Apple's STP process. So the following types of segmentation can be seen in case of Apple. First, geographically, Apple operates in 175 countries, mostly developed countries, and then there are some developing countries as well, and in regions such as Africa, America, Europe, Middle East, Asia Pacific, etc. Demographically, Apple's aim at designing and selling the product for both male and female. In behavioral terms, they have a segment of brand switchers. These are the people who are willing to switch brands. Psychographically, we have got people who are willing to use Apple's product to show their social status in the society, and then people who have a lifestyle of using gadgets or who are into media and photography and communication. Apple targeted customers in the following ways. They have got individuals that are tech savvy and professionals that are into media, photography, and business. And then they also sell their products to students and educational institutions. Most importantly, they target higher or middle income groups, and they also offer their product to small and mid-sized enterprises along with the government. Positioning. Apple positions itself as a premium brand by keeping the price of its product and services high in order to encourage favorable perceptions among buyers based solely on the price. It is also used as a status symbol by the people in the society. It has also positioned itself as a high quality product designer and supplier in the market. Evaluation and critique of the model. This process enables better understanding of customer requirements according to DIB, which also helps to be more responsive in terms of sale of the product. Gibson has pointed one of the disadvantages of this segmentation process because it assumes that people in a particular segment are homogeneous and thus they ignore diversity and heterogeneity. According to DIB, sometimes the marketers might not achieve the desired results, and the correct application of the process is also one of the concerns for marketers. The third concept, consumer decision-making process. It is very important for the marketers to understand the buying behavior of the consumers, and there are many factors that influence this decision-making process. It could be personal, it could be psychological, and social influences from peers, friends, families. This model also helps them to know that stages a consumer progress through while making a purchase decision. As you can see in the picture, the funnel shows the progressions or stages a consumer makes, and as he goes through the stages, he is more clearer in his thoughts and filters down to the product of his choice. However, it is not necessary that all the buyers make progressions through all the stages like the consumers that are engaged in extensive buying does. Some may skip the steps and leap directly from the need stage to the purchase stage. I'll be explaining this consumer decision making process through an example of Apple's product. So the first stage is problem recognition. So a consumer is in need of new portable device because he wants to upgrade from his old model. So he's looking for something which is good for communication purpose, have more storage, more RAM, good camera quality, and long battery. The second stage is information search. The consumer will use search engines to know the best available options for him in the market. He might go to his friends, families, relatives and ask for recommendations. The third stage is evaluation of alternatives. So while doing the information search in the second stage, consumer came across brands such as Apple, Samsung, Huawei, and now he will make a comparison between the models that he has selected to evaluate the alternative options, and this evaluation will be based on his own set of standards that might be price, in terms of storage, in terms of resolution of the camera or size of the phone. So the fourth stage is purchase decision. At this stage, the consumer finally makes a choice, and here in this case, after comparing the brands, the consumer have decided to purchase Apple iPhone 13 Pro because he is impressed with the updated technology and the integration of features that it provides, and he's also willing to pay premium price because it will be also an indication of his social status in the society. The fifth stage is the outcome. In this case, the customer is highly satisfied with the product and he's going to recommend it to peers and families and relatives and friends. And in this way, Apple is also benefited from word of mouth marketing. Coming to the marketing recommendations for Apple, a huge proportion of consumers, for example, have spending budgets. So as a result, middle and lower income groups buy old model of iPhones as the price drop down with the new launch of the product. Thus, Apple should focus on offering at least few models with reduced price to target this segmented market. Apple should also continue to focus on innovating and fulfilling customer demands to hold this position of premium brand with the increase in competition in the market. Apple's marketing strategies no doubt has proven to be successful for the company. Apple should also be more focused on offering additional new features in their new product lines, because this is one of the reasons that people tend to buy old models, since there is a slightly advancement in the newer model. So it also reduces the market for the new product. I hope you've learned something from this video. Thank you for watching.